Hey, hi, ho, and howdy, everybody. My name is Shoujo, and welcome to the next episode of our Katawa Shoujo playthrough of RIN's Root. I'm so sorry for the 8.5 hour long video before. It was just so steamy, and there was so much going on. We was getting down, we was getting busy, we was getting at it. And it's very awkward to just stop doing that in the middle of a video. Also, can we talk? My boy lasted for an hour and a half. I mean, not like really in the canon, but I'm just like saying for us, that was an hour and a half of those two just goddamn. Anyway, if you guys are as hype as I've never, what am I doing, a like goal now? What the fuck is wrong with me? We don't do that here unless you want me to. If this video gets 1 like, I'll continue to do the things I already do because I don't have anything else fucking beneficial for you. Here's the thing. If this video gets 3 likes, I will 100% immediately, after I can see that those likes have been put there, I will make my first Pokemon top 10 video. Right away. I will get working on it. If not, you're gonna have to wait 8.5 months before I find the courage and drive to do it. Anyway, let's continue this story. We're getting very close to the end, if I'm not mistaken. So, that's cool. After that, of course, we'll take a good break or two from Katawa Shoujo, and then we'll come back stronger than ever with a new lover and or just person who's there. Like, they don't have to fall in love with us. That's a lie. They do. That's the way the game's made. It's a lovey game, and it wouldn't be that if it didn't do what it does. Anyway, point is, we're moving on. I'm pretty sure the girl who's standing there, half naked, just being like, checking stuff out, staring out the window of my room, has a much better grasp of present than I do. A continuation of where we left off before. And I tried to end the video too soon. As for me, well, right now I'm somewhat confused by my present state, since I should try to locate my shirt and not stare at RIN's extremely attractive ass. But I just can't stop looking at her. I mean, she's not bad, man. Like, she's cute as fuck, and she's goddamn adorable. I don't know what it is. I really like this art style. Like, I don't know what it is. I think different artists take all kinds of different. Just because, like, in the last video, there's like 12 different scenes with her in it in different positions and states of undress, and they're like all different. I always thought that was interesting. Like, some of them I really like, and some just don't really jive with me all that well. I don't know. I always really liked her base sprites. Look at her. She's goddamn adorable. Look at her face. She's so close to the glass that her nose is probably going to leave a mark. Just leave it, just bunch of snot all over your window. At least her breathing does, when it condenses on the rain-cooled window glass before quickly disappearing again. My shuffling around to get dressed doesn't rouse RIN from her contemplation, which is fine, really. I don't mind the silences as much as I used to. Only after I'm almost finished with buttoning up my shirt does RIN say anything, still without turning to look at me. Let's go somewhere. But where, though? I can only assume she's inviting me and not the windowsill, but it's a fair guess. I know. What? Help me get dressed. I think today is the day. Come on, close. Close. What an impatient tone. What a stuck-up bitch. I crouched down to pick up her bra from the floor where it had fallen, discarded in the haste of undressing and forgotten there. Gone, but not forgotten. Hanging it from between my fingers like a dead fish, the same hesitation that grasped me when I was undressing RIN is creeping inside my head again. Is intimacy really something that's difficult for me to handle? Dude, the number of things that are problems with you fucking is unending. And I can say that because it's coming from a guy fucking who. See, problems. I got them in spades, and so do you, and that's okay. But we should be ashamed of our faults.
Come on, you got it off just fine. This is the same, but the other way around.
It's like talking backwards. That's difficult to do, ma'am. How dare you, madam?
Is this the tube drum sneeze? You got that?
Perplexed by her sudden and prodigious display of mental processing capability, I forget to attempt to reversing her gibberish back. I did, but admittedly it took me like 4 minutes. Like, okay, so now I have to figure out what that word is, and now I'm moving on to the next one. That's obviously it, and the next one, it's ridiculous. I'm pretty sure I couldn't switch to talking backwards that fluidly, even with some practice. But what though? Bitch, I'm not saying it again.
Assisted tube drasmies, dude.
Got it. Fine. Boy, I'm right there with you. I'll give it a try. Rin was right. The locking mechanism is simple enough, and I get the little plastic hooks right on the third attempt. There. You're golden, pony boy. Girl. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Tistuja at ever we won.
Now you have to adjust it. There we go. We got it in the end. What? Please stop that. Don't do that. Don't speak backwards Z's. I'm dumb as hell. Don't do that. I'm Hasao. I can't read it like Shannon can. She shakes her head as if needing to banish the backwards way of thinking with a physical gesture. I know a few people could benefit from that kind of ability. Dude, if you could just shake away all of Misha's insanity, you'd have a normal functioning human being. It's madness.
I got stuck. Now you have to adjust it.
Adjust?
Calibrations, bitch. Garrus told you how it works. That's what I said.
No, I asked what you meant.
You know, so they're snuggalicious.
Oh. Fine, you say. As I have no idea when her breasts are supposed to be fine, I end up fumbling around her chest for a good while without really getting anywhere. Not that I would complain, but Rin does.
Emmy is better at you than this.
Emmy has tits. I'm throwing that out there. Not like, I don't believe particularly like prominent? I can't remember. This is not the thing to be focusing on right now. Okay. Her impatient tone ticks me off, even though I can't really disagree. Rin suddenly seems to be in an awful hurry. Yeah, well, excuse me, but that could be because she's a girl and can actually relate. As I said before, the tatas are things that she owns.
I don't think so. She's got just about as much chest as you do.
Again, see, she doesn't have a whole lot. I was correct. I'm glad that I focused on that part of thing that definitely needed to be focused on. God damn it. With her bra and breasts eventually fine, as they should, the rest of her clothes are considerably easier to put on. Rin launches towards the door even though her shirt is not buttoned up all the way yet. Left with little choice, I run after her. As soon as I realize that we're headed for the side entrance leading to the forest, I think I know where Rin wanted to go, although I couldn't say why she wanted to go there. Then again, I can't really assume my guesses to be anywhere near correct when Rin is concerned, not even for a quite generous definition of correct. The forest behind the wall smells of rain. The last raindrops are still dripping from the wet undergrowth into the earth despite the rain being gone for a while already. We stroll along in an unhurried pace that Rin sets, giving me the time to take in the calming atmosphere. I think I can hear Rin saying hello to at least 3 different trees as she walks past them, but I ignore it, just as the trees do. Fucking snobby-ass trees, rolling their tree noses up at the adorableness that is Rin. She leads me to the narrow path, side path leading up to the hilltops, as I guessed. I peek through one of the canopy, trying to find a rainbow, but there doesn't seem to be one. It's perfect weather for rainbows. The sun is shining low and rain has passed not too long ago. Well, whatever. Sometimes there just ain't no rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow that doesn't exist. I lower my eyes from the treetop to see the gaunt back of the girl who is climbing up the hill slowly without losing her balance. She a goddamn path ninja. An armless path ninja. Balance. She got it. A few steps ahead of me on the path, but still within my reach. I don't think I could ever reach a rainbow, but reaching RIN seems less impossible than it used to seem. The clear sky greeting us from above the meadow clearing seems vast and beautiful. A strong wind is hurting the rain clouds away from the town, to the other side of the mountains in the distance. The sight is pretty, but a speck of white flies past the edge of my peripheral vision, but when I turn to look, it's already gone. Another follows, and then a third. Before I realize it, dozens of almost invisible small tufts of white are flying all around us.
Look, the flowers. They're so totally dope.
Oh, I see it now. The sea of dandelions that covered the hilltop on our last visit has changed over the days. Where there was bright yellow before, there is now fluffy white. I always thought dandelions were really cool that way. It's just such an interesting thing, the life cycle of a dandelion. Like, it's not a particularly pretty flower, weed, or whatever. But, like, it's just kind of a little thing, and then a couple days later, a couple weeks or something, and then you got the big poofy clouds that just burst away into the air, carrying off the little dandy babies off into another future. I just thought it was interesting. I like dandelions. Well, we just did this. Some of the flowers have already shed their seeds, but many are still waiting for a suitable gust of wind. Today, those gusts are not in short demand. Every now and then, they shake the grass thoroughly, and suddenly the air is thick with dandelion seeds. One by one, the seeds separate from the flower heads and are lifted away. A commonplace event, but one that seems to fascinate RIN for some reason. Right? It's not like it's a very simple thing, but I always thought it was a nice thing. She's turning her head from side to side, marveling at the change happening all around her as the seeds fly away. I watch them too, following the white tufts floating with the wind towards the horizon. Imagine that I can see them even after they disappear from my sight.
Hey, Sal?
Yeah, what's up?
Do you love me?
I snap to attention like, what, love, you say? To meet her suddenly very serious face that is not looking only at the flowers anymore. What a tough question, asked just like that out of the blue. Still, her bluntness compels me to answer rapidly. I don't know. Maybe I do. But like, even if you don't even if you can't commit to, well, I love you, like, I'm all about your heart, man. Or, like, you can at least be like, yeah, no, I totally love you as a friend. At the very least, I do love you as a friend. I love RIN as a friend. And she's fictional. She's dope. Weird and just mind-numbing, but really cool. Everyone needs a little RIN in their life, you know? Maybe too rapidly.
The hell does that mean?
I don't know.
RIN sighs.
Perhaps unhappy with my wishy-washy answer. I would probably be too. That's the worst. But you can't really help it all the time.
Me neither. I don't think I know much about love.
It's fine, isn't it?
How should I know?
The shrug of her shoulders seems to say, hesitating to give a firmer answer. She stays silent for only a second too long, but even that second isn't long enough for me to think ahead.
I love you.
Those 3 words freeze me in place like a rabbit staring into headlights. But I'm not a rabbit, and I'm just staring into RIN's eyes that seem far, far too impassive for what she just let out of her mouth. RIN looks pretty serious, though, until she sticks out her tongue, frowns a little, and confuses me even more than her words ever possibly could. Why does she look mildly unhappy? Was it a confession of her deepest feelings? A test to see how I would react? A test to see how she would react?
It tastes weird.
What?
Yeah. So weird.
She laughs, maybe nervously, or so I want to think, but stops midway when she notices how strange it sounds.
Like, I don't know what I don't think there's a word for this.
RIN keeps on talking as though there was no meaning behind her words, steady and careless words dropping from the same tongue that formed the more important ones.
A word for,
Except,
it's like,
she can't find the words. RIN just keeps staring at me, mumbling or stumbling with her words as if her brain suddenly ground to a halt.
like hamburger.
What? She looks awfully confused, much like how I feel right now as I wait for her to explain. But she doesn't. She just blinks a few times, the flutter of her long lashes catching my fancy because she looks like she's petrified otherwise. Until I realize what they were fighting against. It's those weird tears again. Not associated with sadness or happiness, not pitiable sobbing nor laughter of joy. Just tears. Spontaneously and without a warning. Like that one time in her classroom. Just a few of them. Not enough to make a fuss about. So RIN doesn't really make a move to hide them even after noticing. RIN cries, looking like she has no idea why, and somehow a great uneasiness grows in my chest when I look into her watery eyes that stare right back at me. It petrifies me too, the shock of the incomprehensibility of the situation. Boy, you need to make smaller words. I'm a fragile man. Don't do this to me. I just don't know what's happening anymore. RIN, what's wrong? She shakes her head in confusion, stumbling to get the words out of her mouth.
Sorry. I might be a little afraid of you.
Those words are muttered slowly, with a small voice that is disbelieving of what it's saying as I am. What? Why?
I don't know. Saying that just made me feel like that. People cry when they're afraid, right? See, I can do it too.
She's averting her gaze now, deliberately not looking at me. It bewilders me, at least as much as what she's saying.
I sometimes with you want to run away so badly, but I can't move. It's like my legs turn into lemon panna cotta pudding and my heart feels like it's gonna explode and...
She slumps her shoulders melancholically.
Has a thing like this ever happened to you?
I remember the leaden sky above the frozen forest and the sound of leafless branches clacking against each other. It's like a memory from another life. Yeah, once. My heart hurt a lot back then, too.
But I thought your thing was not contagious.
Boy, you got a sexually transmitted heart fuck-up is what you have right there. Sir, you've caught a serious case of sexually transmitted emotions. I shake my head and a tiny slight forced smile raises on my lips. I'm going to murder this fucking piece of plastic. Okay. The other ailment of my heart could very well be contagious, and I wouldn't care a bit. What are you afraid of? I never thought it was scary. RIN shakes her head desperately, as if knowing that the tangle inside her mind won't be undone just with that.
You make me feel that I should be someone else than me. That's a scary thing.
It is. And, like, that's not, at least for me, that has never been a thing I didn't get. I always 100% understand that. And I think I've mentioned it like a good 4 or 5 times in this series alone. I've never been super proud of being me. And that tends to get amplified when I'm with people that I care about, because obviously I'm like, well, I just feel like I'm holding you down because I am me. Regardless of whether I am or not. It's very possible I'm not ever, but it always feels that way to me. And I can sympathize with that a lot.
It happens when you're being nice to me, like yesterday. You know, you're not being a shouty douche bucket. I never know what to do at times like that. It's really hard.
Her voice is barely audible, a whispered admission of something that's too embarrassing to even think, not to mention say aloud. Rin has never been one to be embarrassed, so she does utter it aloud. Only timidly, as if by instinct.
But I want to do something. But I don't know if this me can.
For a moment, we just stare at each other as if waiting for the other to say something. You are so stupid. Rin's lips taste salty and scared against my... That's... Again, you need to get better vocabulary words. Because it sounds fucking creepy when you say that shit. Like salty, I get it. I get it. It's questionable, but I get you. The scared word is creepy. That being said, don't die because of this. As I grasp her into an embrace, I feel my heart thumping in my chest painfully. Even though I'm glad that she can say things like that, they do make me sad after all. Rin's spirit, her passion, her strength, all of those things that I hold dear are the ones I don't ever want to change. How should I treat them? Where are they headed to? Is that for future irrevocably different from mine? Yeah, that anxiety that will never lose its grip on my heart. Or that is, yeah. But I think I could learn to live with it. Slowly, the pain in my chest dies out, and it settles into the same rhythm as Rin's. Listen to that for some time. After our lips break apart, it takes a while for either of us to realize that we can say something now.
See? You're a really kind person, even when you're not. It's like the most scariest thing ever. I think that all I ever was afraid of is your kindness. And probably him being a douche. He had moments. I'm sorry, you can call him out on those. Is it bad, even if you're afraid? She thinks about this for a while, furrowing her brow as though this is some kind of hard math problem. No, I'm alright with it. It's fine if it's you.
Like a weight lifted from my chest, her words elate my heart, filling it with, I don't know, ever-loving peace and happiness. A reason to live. What else could it be? This time, my smile is genuine. Rin steps back, still smiling gently at me like I do at her. While she wipes her face on her shoulder, I pick up a round, plump dandelion clock and bring it to my pursed lips. They spread out into the wind that picks them up to carry them to a new home. To think, only a few short weeks ago they were so different. And Shannon wasn't dying. Damn. This is change. Hey, so the flowers became what they were meant to become. Like you said last time. What about you? Did you become a true artist, or did you not, because you ran away? She pauses for a while to ponder my question, and then just kind of shrugs her shoulders. It almost makes me laugh. The carefree easiness of her gesture is a lovely thing, a sign of how Rin can truly and really, without any restraints whatsoever, shed the entire weight of the world from her shoulders, should she will it so. She is in every possible and probable few impossible ways free. And I think I might love her for that. That's something that's really kind of cool about her. It's a real cool thing to have in a person. Again, it could always backfire as well, but it's a nice thing.
I don't think it matters. Let's just watch the clouds for today.
She takes 5 steps to climb on a large rock so she can rise as high as possible here and stands on tippy toes. When you reach for the clouds, every inch counts. Sure, let's watch the clouds. It's good to do something you really want to do every now and then.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I really like this art.
She got that adorable face. She's just like, I'm looking into the future, seeing what I want to be.
Okay, I glance upwards at the blue sky opening high above us. There's a deep cerulean vastness that spreads out my entire field of vision and beyond. I'm gonna tell you right now, most of that is not blue, good sir. A lot of that is like orange. Yet Rin stays on her rock, peering at the distant horizon where the rain clouds are drifting further away from us.
I think I've decided something.
That dreaming voice of hers, spoken to the wind that carries it to my ears, is lacking resolve and tone, but it's full of it and meaning.
It's alright to be me after all.
It's alright? Her decisions always seem to be pretty far out. Well, I suppose that it is an important realization. Coming to terms with oneself, accepting yourself, being fine with what you are. A simple resolution of the heart that, for some people, is overbearingly hard to do, if not completely impossible. I do realize well enough that I might also be one of those people. Rin too. Maybe we're not that different after all. Maybe to accept someone else, you just kind of first have to accept yourself. Maybe that is a necessary step, which we didn't really take until now. Looking at her standing on that rock, I believe that she can find whatever she's looking for. And so can I. The Rin catches her hair and clothes, and Rin spreads her short arms into an embrace that is so very, very tiny, but as wide as she could ever do. For a moment, it looks like she herself might take flight. I have to hold myself back to not reach for her shoulder, to not drag her back to me. But this picture is something I can only watch. It is something for me to remember. Rin's sleeves are flapping freely in the wind, her hair wildly tousled by... I don't know how to read that there word. Her skin touched by the setting sun. Her sleek form, that I've come to adore, is quivering in the cool wind that carries the small white specks past her, each a beginning of a new flower. All of that is engraved inside my heart. Like those tiny seeds scattered to the wind, I'm sure that Rin too can take her place in this world without needing to create her own inside of it. Maybe she believes it too, and standing as close to heaven as possible, she has given the world a big hug. To me, it seems like the entire world really could fit there between those tiny small arms of hers, inside of her all-encompassing embrace.
Is how?
She looks at me at the same way she calls my name, carelessly over her shoulder with a strange happiness in her voice and in her eyes. I gaze into those mysterious dark eyes that are curiously twinkling from below her auburn hair. Although I'm too far for her to see it, I'm sure they're reflecting my image. What is it?
What's the word for when it feels inside your heart that everything in the world is gonna be alright?
That's a good question. God damn. That one was kind of rough. But I'm happy it ended the way it did. That's the thing about like Hisao and Rin specifically, because there's it's made you probably, if for those of you who've maybe only seen this one now and maybe the previous series that I did, or maybe you've seen one or two, but it's pretty obvious that there is issues in all of these. They're all rough in their own little way. Each of these stories have issues. And this one's pretty rough. Again, like no one died or nothing, but there's a lot of back and forth and yelling and problems. And that's the biggest thing about this is like all of the relationships kind of have their own they have things that work really well, and they're Hisao and whoever he's with, they can either really, really pair up in a way that benefits the two, or at least heavily benefits one, or they don't really. I won't go into any ones that we haven't done, of course, because eventually, and now that we finished RIN, we can move on to either Lily or Emmy. I guess we could do Shiznei. It's just I'm not particularly a fan of Shiznei's, but it's up to everyone else. Lily and Emmy are two of my absolute favorites, which isn't saying much because literally the four that I've discussed are my favorites. They're all great in their own little way. It's very interesting to see how those relationships work and how Hisao helps them and they help him. When you look back on Hanako, like he really pulls her out of that dark, unpleasant place, and she helps him do the same thing. And the thing is with Rin's route is it's such a rough one, because while it does end on a pretty happy note, like that's heartwarming, and I'm really glad, and I sincerely hope that manages to continue in a way that's pleasant and not horrific. It does become very apparent that at least through the majority of that route, Rin and Hisao are just bad for each other. Like, it's a really toxic relationship. And that's the thing too, is because that hurts and it's rough. But I think that's also a sign of a really good story, when it still matters so much to you, when it's not always just happy. There's a lot of, I would say, out of all of the routes in the game, it's by far the most conflict constantly. And I do love it, and I think the reason I love it the most is because while Hisao does shit that pisses me off constantly, I really do love Rin as a character. She's awesome. She's interesting and weird, and it's someone you're always kind of rooting for. At least I always do. I'm sure there's someone who's like, fuck her, but I'm like, come on, man. And that's, I think that's the biggest part of it, because for me, the biggest part of a story is rooting for the people in it. The characters will always be the most important thing to me in a story. Whether it's a happy story or a sad one. In this case, it's a sad through most. Again, has a happy ending, which I'm really happy that it does, and I hope it continues to have a happy ending. But, it's I'm glad you could have such a cool character as Rin to root for the whole time, and I really hope that those two figure it all out in the end. So anyway, yeah, as per last time, again, we will be taking a break. I'm thinking maybe, considering how many long, random breaks throughout the series that I did, especially here in Rin's route, I don't know exactly how long we want to do the break. I think it was about 2 weeks or so last time. We'll see. I'll get opinions. But first of all, the first big opinion I need, of course, is who is next on the docket. Of course, there's Emmy and Lily are the two in particular that I know I really care for and I think are awesome. I think Emmy, and all in all, again, is my personal favorite, and I'd be happy to see her. But then again, I'd be really happy to see Lily too, because Lily's dope. Also, it gets me a chance to break out the Scottish accent that I have not done in months now, and it's madness. So it's gonna be abysmal when I break it out again. But anyway, yeah, so in the comments down below, please, by all means, tell me who you guys want to see next. Do you guys want to see Emmy, or do you guys want to see Lily? You can vote for Shiznei too, I guess, but I'm probably gonna lean towards the other two. Yeah, so by all means, hit it down below. And again, if you just like the video, feel free to show it some love. Every time you share a video or you like it or anything, or just comment, do anything like that, that means a lot to me. I like that interaction, and sharing means that it's growth. You sharing it lets other people see it, and that in turn lets it grow. So again, you never have to do any of those things, but it means the world to me when you do. Like recently, I've been doing my best, and I'm sorry that it pushed this back a little bit, but I've been doing my best to keep up with the news stuff for Pokemon Sun and Moon, or Ultra Sun and Moon specifically. And I've been doing my best to keep on with the news updates, get them out as soon as I can, get them put together, and work to make sure everything works as best that I can. Because if I can get it consistent, I can get it to work on it all the time, then that's good. If I can establish that, I feel really good. And it's something I need to work on with my just Let's Plays. And the thing that's very nice about those two is that actually got at least a little bit of exposure for me, and allowed a lot more people to see the stuff that I do. And actually, a couple people went back and started watching through old series on the channel, and that was so cool to see. I'm like, oh, I thought they were dead and no one was ever going to look at them again. And I'm like, oh, new people actually want to check them out. So there's something really cool about that. It makes me really happy. So anyway, again, you never have to, but I do appreciate it. And I appreciate everything you guys do. So even if it's just watching the video. So I will see you guys in the next video, whenever that happens to be. By all means, again, down below. Lily, Emmy, Shizne, what do you want to see? Who are you all about? Yeah. Until next time. Toodles, doodles, and lemons. Oh, bye-bye.